song, pretty lady. Born to be angry, grip of the vice, click on the trigger, girl. Sip hard on ice, it's about time. Best to the right, you better have it all. My heart's your, go baby go. It's about time. I'm on a tightrope. Don't go. It's about time. It's about. All the years of paradise, paradigms paralyze us. You're crazy. All the cards you organize, shuffle twice in front of my eyes. Everybody needs what's so cold, girl. Lights, love, go, baby, go. It's about time. I'm on a tightrope. Don't go. It's about time. It's about.
Welcome back, everyone, to another round of ATC15, presented by Sync Mesh. This week we are in Brazil, Sao Paulo, for the third round of the season, the home track of SRG's own Ian Bertolucci. Though he has qualified a bit down the order today. We'll get to that in a moment. 45-minute affair. This is actually I believe, the shortest endurance challenge outside of Monza combined and Nürburgring combined. This is the shortest in terms of duration endurance challenge ever. 45 minutes is going to be short, one pit stop expected, and they have enough fuel to go about 30 to 35 minutes. So it'll be interesting to see when people elect to go and grab that new set of tires or tire. There's a required tire change at some point, so they will have to choose when best to do that. No fuel saving expected today because with only one pit stop, the tire change will take longer than filling the car up anyway. You can do them at the same time, so it's going to be down to when they actually stop. Although there's no rain expected for the race, it was a little wet out there at the end of practice and for the start of qualifying, so the qualifying order is a bit shaken up. Let's take a look. Let's take a peek. At the top, it is still Michael Polasek with a capital P. He is 4/10 ahead of Mike D'Almeida up there at the front. And then in third place is Logan McKenzie. And then from there, the familiarities end. Mitchell Richtmeyer, P4. That, I believe, is his career best qualifying performance. Zachary Bowman, P5. Look at Pennzoil Super Touring. 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And the Yellow Flag franchise as a whole, locking out the top 5. In 6th place, Corey Lobner with a career best start. Jason Lynn in 7th with a career best start. Matt Zepka 8th, Schink 9th, and then Kyle Murray's up in 10th. Hendricks, Mitchell, Leibold, and then Clavijo and Saab are back in 14th and 15th. And then there's Bertolucci in 17th alongside Mark Darnell. They're just behind Gavi Sierra. And that is a very spicy grid because look at the mixtures of Alpha and Delta drivers. I mean, Richtmeyer on his first, I believe this is his first Delta pole as well. I could be wrong about that, but I mean, he's up there. You have 4 Deltas in the top, starting in the top 10 for an endurance race. Further down the order, 35 cars total in this one. I see Daniels, who has picked up a couple wins this season in the Delta class, starting 19th. and Dave Thomas starting 23rd. So if those two are going to continue their fight for the Delta Championship, they've got some work to do today. This is a chance for some others to gain points on the two Delta title contenders. That about does it for the pre-race festivities. Now we look down to the grid. There's your pole sitter, Michael Polasek. Not too much time left before the start of today's event, and he will be leading off a very unfamiliar top 10 here at Interlagos. We are ready to go. They are revving up. They held them for a long time, but we're finally a go here at Interlagos, and Polasek will lead us to turn 1. De Almeida and McKenzie side by side, and they're nearly 4 wide for 4th place behind. And coming into the Cinasses, it's now 3 wide. It's sorted itself out a little bit. Corey Lobner is up on the outside of that. There goes Michael Polasek around the third corner here, and he has already taken a decent lead in this one. The field starting to file their way through. A fairly clean start here. Rick Meyer holds on to the Delta lead just ahead of Corey Lobner. And they continue to race fairly cleanly here. We're looking at Damon Mitchell. He is dealing with Kyle Murray on his left side, and they are going to go wheel to wheel. You've got Mitchell on the inside, and up ahead you have Zachary Bowman going past Corey Lobner, and that helps his teammate out. Oh, big moves here by Jason Lynn, and he's going to slip by Corey Lobner. That was a very ambitious overtake, but he got that one done. First lap hasn't even come to a close yet, and we've got a lot of fighting, including in the back. Look at the T0 Valkyries mixed in with the Formula Llama cars. There's plenty of Deltas scrapping in the back. That is Mick Beta going around Kyle Trost, just as Michael Polasek comes off the final corner to complete the first lap of the day. These two will continue to go side by side. This is for 15th in the Delta class, and now Trost is going to slip ahead. And they look dead even as they came onto the straight. Polasek, De Almeida, McKenzie. Look at this, John Daniels in the background. He's trying to make a move on Yavi Sierra. Daniels is currently 6th in the Delta class. And his championship rival Thomas is behind him in 20th overall. So right now, no reason for him to panic too much. Looking back up, speaking of the Delta leader, that is Mitchell Rickmeyer with Zachary Bowman, his teammate, all over him. And I think Bowman will probably take it fairly easy on him because Rickmeyer's never won a Delta race before. And P2 in the Delta class, Jason Lynn is right there. So you've got Bowman and you've got Rickmeyer. And I think Rickmeyer may be letting his teammate go here. And that is a completed overtake for the 654. Up ahead, Francois Schink, I believe he just went around his teammate Matt Zepka. Those guys are up 5 positions and 3 positions each. So they are making quick work of this, and they're catching up to McKenzie and De Almeida, who are trailing Polasek. Polasek already has a 1.3 second gap. Mitchell and Lobner, they are side by side here. I think Lobner's going to eke this one out. Meanwhile, behind, Thomas trying to complete an overtake and climb his way up the Delta class, going around the outside. That is tough sledding, and now he's going to go for a crossover move on Gilbert. Up ahead, in front of these guys, you still have Lobner and Mitchell going at it here. This whole group very close racing as they come to turn 1. Ian Bertolucci trying to make moves at his home race. Looks to the right side of Murray, and they're 2x2 in the background as Murray stays ahead there. Thomas and Gilbert almost touching in there is, there's Waj. Oh, as Gilbert goes wide, and now contact in the background as Spencer Clark and Daniel Bond are parked up at the outside of turn 1. And through all this, Lobner and Kyle Murray are scrapping, and the Delta lead. No, that is Hendricks going past the Delta leader. Lobner trying to stay ahead of Murray on corner exit. They're all keeping it very clean here thus far. A little scrap at turn 1 there on that lap, but otherwise, look at this. Murray pulling ahead of Lobner as they come up to the corner, and Bertolucci is going to follow him through. And behind that is Brian Saab working his way past Jess Rakowski. Now, Mitchell Rickmeyer, he has Zachary Liebold behind him. Rickmeyer down 4 spots so far, but he has yet to be passed by a Delta driver. And a small train now growing behind him. And there is Yavi Sierra boxing out John Daniels, who now has Dave Thomas right on his rear bumper. On board with Thomas. Oh, and more touching into the final corner. And now Daniels, I think, is going to eke past the 9. But there will be a little over-under action. And now Dave Thomas is going to shove his nose in there. I can't believe that they made space. And they are 3 wide, and Thomas is going to not only go around Sierra, but he's going to go around Daniels. And Surinovich is right there to capitalize. He will happily follow Thomas through on all of this. And into turn 1 they go. It's still Daniels and Sierra side by side, and Thomas is going to go around Wadley. Goes a little deep into turn 1. Sierra has to go a little wide there at the bottom of the Sina S's. And now that exposes him to Saab and Rakowski. Up ahead, Liebold battled with Rickmeyer for a moment, but still couldn't get past the Delta leader. Mitchell has now inserted himself there. So there's 2 cars in between Rickmeyer and Lynn. Now Sierra is trying to hold on to this next to Rakowski. This hasn't worked out well for him. He slipped down the order a bit. It's been fairly clean racing. Good fighting. He's just ended up on the wrong side of it for most of this, and now he'll have to yield there. Going back to Zachary Bowman, who is in 6th place right now after qualifying 5th. He is currently working to hold off Micah Hendricks. Oh no, a touch! A touch from Hendricks, and that is going to demote Bowman a few spots. There goes his teammate. There goes Zachary Liebold and Damon Mitchell. Now that does actually help his teammate out because it puts another car in between him and Jason Lynn, who is right there with Kyle Murray and Ian Bertolucci. If we go on board with Bertolucci, very long string of cars, and behind I think Waj is looking to make that move on Thomas. This is Waj's first appearance in the series in a while, and he's in a Veloster. Is that a first for Waj? I'm not entirely sure. He didn't get a chance to qualify. He's already up 13 spots. He started 31st in this one. Now he's working the outside of Thomas. And up ahead, Mitchell Rickmeyer, your Delta leader, takes a shortcut down the Sina S's. Waj does go by Thomas. Rickmeyer's going to have to let Mitchell and Liebold through, and I think he'll be able to serve the slowdown without yielding the Delta lead. But the first major mistake from the 89 in this one thus far. And now his teammate is once again on his back bumper. And we have been so honed in the middle of this pack. There isn't really anything going on in the top 6 or 7 cars. Mike the Almeida and McKenzie are kind of close. But we're so wrapped up in all of this. I mean, Bertolucci going around Jason Lynn. And in all that, Lynn and Murray swap places. So Murray is the P2 Delta now. And Daniels has reached Dave Thomas. And this is an important fight. He's all over the back of the 15, and Thomas will have to go defensive as up ahead. Surinovich is going around. That is Evan Clavijo, who goes wide, and that's going to bring him right into the clutches of Thomas, who tries to go for a little over-under move here. And he just couldn't find space for it into the final corner, so Clavijo's going to hold on to that position. That's P5 in the Delta class is where he's at. Michael Polasek just set the fastest lap of the race. He leads by 3 seconds right now. If we go to a wide shot, look at Mitchell Rickmeyer. There's Bowman, Murray, Bertolucci, and then Lynn and Lobner. A lot of drivers all in a big train here. And these trains not unfamiliar in the Alpha Touring Challenge here at Interlagos. There have been a few races that have had trains such as this develop. Now look at this. Rick Meyer is going to lose out to his teammate. A bad run out of the St. Asses. And he needs to let him go here without letting Kyle Murray get involved. This is looking back from Rick Meyer. And into the corner, he does get behind Bowman without Murray going through. And now Ian Bertolucci's got to the back of these guys. And now Mike DeAlmeida and Logan McKenzie are fighting for P2. And as they go wheel to wheel, it's Damon Mitchell and Zachary Liebold behind, also scrapping. Liebold has to stay behind Mitchell as Mitchell gets ahead, and he is in 7th. And these two are still side by side. And I think finally, DeAlmeida's going to have to yield that, and that has brought Francois Schenck right up to them. So we bounce back to Damon Mitchell, Zachary Liebold. They lead this whole group now. And there's your Delta leader, Mitchell Richtmeyer. He is looking back. Well, that's looking forward. But if we look back, there is Kyle Murray. And Murray right on the back of the Pennzoil Super Touring driver, hunting for that second Delta win. Kyle Murray. Rick Meyer looking for his first. McKenzie with DeAlmeida right on his back bumper into turn 1. For a second there, I thought they were going to fight into turn 1, so we'll look back to someone who is more likely to scrap, and that is Liebold and Mitchell, but still no movement. Look at this whole train of cars as they file into turn 1. That is, you're looking at 7th all the way back to basically 20th. And Waj going around the outside, just trying to take his momentum somewhere. No, I don't think he has enough to get past Lobner here. Now, Sierra and Rakowski are side by side again, and they have lost this group while they and Gilbert have been fighting. And up ahead at the front of the field, McKenzie has slipped back behind DeAlmeida. Rakowski's going to go through on Sierra. And now Schenck and McKenzie are going at it. And Schenck's going to have to tuck in behind McKenzie. A lot of battles kicking off here. Rick Meyer having to go defensive on Kyle Murray. And there's Dave Thomas. He's still looking for a way around the 187 of Evan Clavijo, and that is not going to work for him. He's been keeping John Daniels behind him this whole time. He's doing a brilliant job of all this so far. And now Rick Meyer under pressure from the 101. It's the first move by Murray, and I'm not sure if it came from a mistake from Rick Meyer or a move from the 101. Almost into the back of the 89 as they exit the final corner. We should be entering the pit window, so if people want to get out of this train and pit early for tires, they can do so. Behind these two, Bertolucci is getting passed by Waj, and Waj now just has two Delta cars left to go around. Into turn 1, it doesn't look like any of these are going to turn into scraps. John Daniels has decided to be the first to come down pit road. He is getting his pace held up by those in front. Sierra still battling with Rakowski out there. Into turn 1, stays ahead. And now look at this. Damon Mitchell getting pushed by Zachary Liebold into that corner. Behind the Delta leader, there's Savinovich, and Kyle Murray smartly letting him by, hoping that maybe Rick Meyer gets held up by him, but I think Rick Meyer's gone wide here and is also going to let him through. They come up to the corner. Rick Meyer will be on a slightly inside line here, but I mean, that's perfectly fine through this corner. Murray's not going to be able to get to the right side to attack him. Now behind that is Thomas again attempting to get around Evan Clavijo. And on his back bumper, just nothing doing there, though he tries to put the nose in here. And he's going to force him to go defensive a little bit, but still nothing going. So Mike DeAlmeida still P2. Logan McKenzie and Francois Schenck are currently scrapping a little bit for P3, and Matthew Zepka is not that far off this group. now the two Delta leaders still have to deal with Ian Bertolucci. John Daniels had a pretty normal pit stop, 24.5 seconds, so nothing crazy going on there. We'll keep an eye on his lap times now compared to the Delta leaders, because this could be a huge undercut for the O2. And they're all so tight with each other in the Senna S's. When you get in a group like this and you start running lap after lap, you start to realize these cars have a little bit of dirty air. In certain tracks like this, especially if it's high-speed corners and sweepers, you're going to start to notice when you're behind people, you just have slightly less grip. McKenzie under pressure from Schenck. Schenck's put the nose in there, and now McKenzie has to give him space, but Schenck slots in back behind. They haven't lost touch with the Almeida through all of this. Let's go on board with someone a little further back in one of the cars in that big train. And let's bounce to Brian Saab. Now he's looking ahead at Dave Thomas. They've got Mark Darnell in between them and the rest of the Delta class. Ian Bertolucci's also sprinkled in there. One-third of this race already completed, and nobody has decided to take a scheduled pit stop other than John Daniels. And that's it. He's the only one who has done that thus far. Now Kyle Murray, he allows Bertolucci through. Maybe that was a bad exit because he's lost so much speed that Jason Lynn goes by him, and he'll be under pressure from Corey Lobner. The Honda topping out as they head to turn one. Murray sits in the middle of the track, and Lobner chooses to go to the right side. Brian Saab will now exit from this train, and he will come down pit road in the Chase Sim Racing Elantra. And getting that fresh set of tires, of course. John Daniels, he is about to set his first lap on that new set of tires. Kyle Murray keeping Corey Lobner behind him. And then up ahead, Damon Mitchell and Zachary Liebold still scrapping a little bit. Liebold hasn't been able to find a way through on the 27. Spencer Clark also on pit lane this time by. And John Daniels' last lap, that was a 1:43.3. That is 1 second faster than Mitchell Rickmeyer's last lap, Jason Lynn's last lap. The only other Delta driver in the 43s is Dave Thomas, and that's just because he had a moment of clean air there. But I think that's a signal to Dave Thomas. You need to follow John Daniels in, because Daniels functionally is already only about a second off of Mitchell Rickmeyer. And he's not that far from effectively being in the lead of the Delta class. If Rickmeyer wants to cover him off, he needs to pit now. It's probably too late for some of these other drivers to do that. Thomas has finally made his way around Clavijo, and now he's looking to the left here, and this may be him following Daniels in, and he will, and Corey Lobner has also elected to do so. And they hit the pit speed limiter cone, and Thomas's stall is early, so we'll watch to make sure if it's a clean entry. And it is. He's up on the jacks. As outside, there goes JB DeJay and Callie Haight. They're battling for 7th in the Delta class right now. And then there's Mark Darnell getting passed by Evan Clavijo. And now some of these positions in the middle of the field getting a bit murky as some of the drivers have yet to take a pit stop. Drivers that have stopped: Daniel, Saab, Clark. Clark's already... no, that was a scheduled stop. And now Thomas is exiting pit lane. His stop was faster than John Daniels. Where is Daniels? There he is. So he'll stay ahead of Thomas. And this has gone extremely well for him. But look at Corey Lobner. He has stayed ahead of Daniels. He has effectively done what the rest of the Delta drivers need to do, and he's covered off the advance from the undercut, so he'll get a chance to defend that on track. Now Waj has crept up to last season's Delta champion, Zachary Bowman, and the 654 is now looking down at the back of a former Alpha champion. Let's go on board with Waj as he attempts the overtake. He's going to look for the side draft here. It's fairly powerful in these cars. So you just get as close to the other guy as you can. And then on the brakes. Around the outside, but it's not going to work. Bowman just closes him off. It's a great move from Bowman to keep Waj behind for the moment. Now up in front, 2, 3, and 4 are very close to having a scrap. I'm surprised this hasn't exploded. I think they're all just waiting to pit, but for now, the Amita continues to lead here. And I believe the Amita only has one career podium. We'll get the statisticians on that. I don't think they're in the office today. Now Waj has looked to the left side of Bowman. He'll be stuck on the outside line again here, but if you can get the inside car to slow up a lot here, it's possible. But Bowman's held it well. A little touch on the outside. And again, Svidovic is held in his tracks. We look back at Callie and Gareth McAllister. These two are now scrapping as JB DeJay goes up the road. Still, no one else has gone into the pits since the last round of takers. McAllister is in an Elantra. I believe he is always in an Audi, so that is an interesting change from the number 25. There is Mike D'Almeida coming down to turn 1. He's got McKenzie right on the back of him, and it is going to be a fight for P2. McKenzie looks to the left, and Shink almost hits the back of McKenzie there, it looked like. And Zepka pulls up to the back of them as a result. McKenzie didn't get any kind of overlap with the 6. And they stay as they were. Now into turn 1. Bowman looks like he's gone a little deep. So Waj is going to have a lot of momentum here, and he'll hang it around the outside and now cut to the inside, and Bowman probably won't be able to fight this one too much. They come down to the corner, and, well, I mean, Waj is only going to be up to his nose, so it's just going to depend on who is better in the brakes, and Waj is going to eke past. Bowman can't get the over-under working for him, and that is that. Now there are the two SCRG teammates, Kyle Murray and Evan Clavijo. They're running 3rd and 4th in Delta class right now with everyone else that's pitted. They're trying to get some open, make use of this clean air because Rick Meyer is 3.5 seconds up the road. Jason Lynn is 2.5 seconds up the road. Now Rick Meyer did a 44.2 last time around on track. John Daniels did a 1:43.8. And Dave Thomas did a 1:43.6. I think they are effectively ahead of Rick Meyer now. So I don't know if there's any harm in Rick Meyer and Lynn staying out a little longer. But in the end, I believe they are not in 1st and 2nd right now in the Delta class. And Kyle Murray and Evan Clavijo also staying out on that same strategy. Looking back to P2, you still have the 6 leading this group. And, I mean, we haven't talked about him much at all. We will look at Clavijo because he might go for a move on his teammate. Are they doing bump drafting techniques, or is this finally going to be, yes, Murray going defensive. And I think, actually, that was a little bit of team orders. Clavijo taking the racing line. They keep Mark Darnell behind them. And, Clavijo missed the corner entirely, and I don't think that's going to keep Mark Darnell behind him, as he will have to serve a slowdown penalty. And the 83 will creep on by the 187. Is he still serving that penalty? Does he manage to serve it and stay ahead? I think Darnell slowed up quite a bit there, not quite understanding where the 187 was going, and Bertolucci is the benefactor. Bertolucci moves up to 15th. And just behind them, oh, that was a nice little thank you, cameraman. Beautiful transition. JB DJ still leads this little group. You have Callie Haight and Nick Beta back there, coming back to the series for the first time in a while. And that is he's up 13 positions, trying to make it 14 with this move. But this group also has yet to pit. So there's a few cars back here that have pitted, like Gilbert and Rakowski, Saab, and Thomas. And Thomas still hasn't caught Corey Lobner. Lobner's been keeping him behind, but Daniels did get around Lobner. So he did clear the one car that covered him off so far. Francois Schenck has decided, let's see what I can do with the top 4 if I go ahead and pit. So he is in. Zachary Bowman is also in. A few takers this lap. Yavi Sierra and Mark Darnell are also on pit road. Zachary Liebold is under some pressure from Savidovic. Wow, he caught this duo quickly. They've been static this whole time, and now the 80 is going to come in here and immediately make moves. As Zach going a little wide, that will invite Waj all the way up the outside. He's not going to be able to close the door before the corner, but I think he's going to have the grip here. He sweeps around the outside and he gets the job done. Now look at this group. Schenck came out just ahead of these guys. He has to go defensive on Dejay and Cowley, and now as a result, Beta takes advantage. Tyler Long is also involved in this. And Schenck's reemergence onto the track, shaking things up. Now Mike D'Almeida and Logan McKenzie, do either of them respond to Schenck getting out of this train? Does Zepka decide to go in with his teammate if he ends up catching this duo? We still have 20 minutes left in the race. Oh, Clavijo and Murray are scrapping again. Clavijo may have made a mistake. Oh my God. And now Bertolucci is going to follow him through on Clavijo. Ooh, out of the final corner. I don't think the 51 got the run he needed to finish that move, did he? It's going to be very close. Looking back, I'm not seeing anything. All I'm seeing is, well, we were looking out the back of Evan Clavijo. You know, these things happen. And look at the side draft. It's bringing the 187 right back into this fight. Damon Mitchell has gone down pit lane. Zachary Liebold stays out. Bertolucci not far enough alongside there, and I think Clavijo will have the advantage. So here we go. We are on lap 16 here at Interlagos. Just under 20 minutes left, and about half the field is pitted. Nick Beta now also going down pit lane. And these two that you're looking at here, they are probably thinking a little bit about Francois Schenck. Schenck is currently 36.5 seconds behind them. So it'd be very close. These two are the closest cars on track at the moment. Everyone else is strung out a little bit as pit stops have been going on. And these two going to pass pit lane again, except McKenzie will not. Coming down pit road. That is almost certainly a move to cover off Francois Schenck. In the meantime, the battle for the current Delta lead between Rick Meyer and Jason Lynn. Very close. Lynn slipstreaming up to the back of Rick Meyer. And as they come to pit lane, Lynn also decides it's time to pit. Behind them, Clavijo and Murray stay out as teammates. They've been scrapping with Ian Bertolucci. Clavijo looks to the left side of Murray, and Bertolucci will follow him as Murray lets them both go through. Now Logan McKenzie exiting pit lane. There's Francois Schenck. He entered the left side of your screen right there. There he is again, and I think McKenzie will have covered him off. It will not be by much, though. And there he is. And that is little under a second. So Schenck's ploy has not quite worked here. Look at this. They're all the way on the inside of the track. DJ and Haight. And the 33 makes that overtake look easy as she slips through. And these three have gone quite a while without pitting. They've gained 15, 19, and 11 positions respectively just from hanging out there. Rickmeyer is still your Delta leader, but is also one of the few Delta cars that has yet to make a pit stop in this one. And behind, you still have Clavijo and Murray. Mike De Almeida finally makes his stop. And now DJ and Haight scrapping again, and this allows Tyler Long to get involved. We'll keep an eye on the 6's exit from pit lane, see how he shakes out compared to Schink and McKenzie as the 33 stays ahead there. But that is not going to be the end of it. There is Mike De Almeida sitting in his pit stall. The cameraman's going crazy. He's doing a little dance, and Callie decides to abandon that, and she has come down pit road. De Almeida on exit now. There go McKenzie and Schink. And De Almeida, he had a slightly longer amount of time spent on pit road. I think he may have missed his box slightly. May have not had a clean entry. Either way, that has put him 1.6 seconds off the back of Schink and McKenzie. And Schink is right on the back of McKenzie. That gap did close extremely quickly. We go another lap. Michael Polasek has been leading this race from jump. It looks like he's on for a Grand Chelem here today. Leading every lap, getting the fastest lap, getting pole, winning the race. I think it's entirely possible. Let's look back at John Daniels. Daniels is still ahead of Dave Thomas. Thomas there in the background. Corey Lobner has managed to keep Thomas behind him thus far, and really he's doing some great work for the O2. Matthew Zepka has elected to come down pit lane now, and the 15 still just can't get around the 41. The 41's going to have the preferred line here, but maybe can he outwork the outside? No, he's pushing it so hard, but he goes off track. Lobner gives him the space, though. He lunges it up the inside. He's doing everything he can to complete this overtake. And now I think Lobner's going to give it up. He just didn't have enough overlap there to be comfortable with that. And on exit of pit lane now is Matthew Zepka. Where does he stack up? There goes Mike De Almeida. And actually, he may be ahead of the 6. Oh, he goes a little wide on pit exit. Into the grass. He almost caught the wall. It's a very, very tricky exit, but he's managed to do it. And up ahead, McKenzie and Schink are side by side, and this is going to help De Almeida and Zepka. And the scrapping is kicking off. And look back here, Lobner and Saab are going at it into turn 1. And Brian Saab works his way past Corey Lobner now, and Jason Lynn is close by. And look at this, Jason Lynn, who just pitted from behind Mitchell Rickmeyer's, behind all these cars. I think John Daniels is in a great position to win this race. There is Evan Clavijo exiting pit lane in front of Mark Darnell and Yavi Sierra, who are having a scrap. And Darnell stays ahead in that affair. The only two Deltas who have not pitted, Rickmeyer and Murray. The entire top 6, I mean, those are the only cars that have yet to come down pit lane. Now Darnell, oh man, is this going to be 3 wide? Rakowski has tried to make it 3 wide, but Clavijo is ahead of both of them. Hendricks and Savicic are down pit lane. Oh, this is such good fighting from all 3 of these. Oh, the 999 around the outside. Oh, she's making it work. She's kept the nose in. That was what Thomas was trying to do earlier, and she's managed to do it without going lawn mowing, and now I think she's going to get the move done. Let's look back to these groups exiting pit lane. Hendricks on pit road as there's Kyle Murray flying into his stall. McKenzie coming through the Senna S is now with Francois Schink all over his rear bumper. And now Mitchell Rickmeyer is the only Delta driver on track who has not pitted in this one. McKenzie again going defensive. Shink's gotten pretty far alongside him here. And on exit, I think McKenzie's going to have to give him some space. Oh, he just can't close it off. So here we go. They're still scrapping. Battles up and down the field as Shink works his way past McKenzie, and I think that's going to be a done move. Oh, and look at this chaos as people exit pit road. Murray and Clavijo side by side. Rakowski decides, no, you can't just block me like that out of pit lane, but it looks like Murray's going to do exactly that, at least for the moment. And now, up the left side, this battle is not over yet. A little touch. This is for what is 8th in the Delta class. Murray staying ahead for the moment. But Rakowski with the over-under, the crossover, and she's going to get that move done. Sliding in front of the 101. And just in front, Bertolucci going around Yavi Sierra, who is going wide. And now there's DeJay going around Austin Dunbar. We just keep cutting into these battles. They're they're everywhere. But they're just constant. And now there's your Delta leader, finally relinquishing the lead as John Daniels comes around the final corner. He will most likely be collecting that lead here with 10 minutes to go here at Interlagos. And let's see if we can get... there is Mitchell, and Mitchell is still on the jacks. So Daniels will be your leader. Thomas and Saab are going to go through. Will Jason Lynn also benefit from the undercut? Rickmeyer on pit exit now. Lynn side by side with him. And I think Lynn's going to have it. So Rickmeyer going from the lead to 5th. Just off of staying out there. Stays ahead of Corey Lobner. But a bit of a disappointment from someone who was looking for his first career victory. Instead, John Daniels is trying to match Dave Thomas. 2-2 in terms of Delta wins this season. And they will almost assuredly stay on top of the Delta standings as McKenzie tried for a move on Shink. But Shink has fended that one off for now. Into the final corner, maybe? No. McKenzie stays back behind the 18. That is the 199 of Mark Booley letting them through. And almost certainly you're going to see Shink under pressure into turn 1 here again. This is great stuff for De Almeida and Zepka. They're still 1.7 seconds back. They need a little bit more fighting from these two if they want to get involved. 8 minutes to go here at Interlagos. We're watching the battle for the podium places. Michael Polasek, after the pit stops, is 15 seconds ahead of these two. These two are probably not going to fight anytime soon. Mitchell and Liebold are still at each other's throats, but Liebold got ahead over the course of those stops. Oh, is McKenzie... It looked like he was too far from Shink to make a move there, and that ended up being the case. And now Evan Clavijo's on pit road again. Is he serving a penalty, or did he not load enough fuel in the car to finish the race? He is pulling into his stall just for a moment. He's sitting there long enough that makes me think it's some kind of stop and hold penalty. Now, your Delta leader, John Daniels, he has Zachary Bowman all over him, but he's not too concerned because Dave Thomas is 5 seconds back. Daniels just has to cruise home in this one, and he'll have his second win of ATC15. Back to the battle at the front. Francois Shink coming around the final corner now. He's got McKenzie 3/10 off him, but De Almeida, that gap to De Almeida still hasn't changed. So just a little bit of fighting, and suddenly the 6 will be right there. He'll probably bring the 490. Now Shink's going to hold the inside middle of the track, and McKenzie is going to force the issue up the inside of the 18 into the center S as we go. That's going to force both of them onto a that's a pretty inefficient line. They lost a half second to the two behind, more than a half second, and Shink will again defend the inside as McKenzie has nowhere to go his momentum but to the right side. Oh, and under the brakes, will the 04 keep the nose in? He will, and this is huge for those behind. This is about to become a 4-car fight. 6 minutes to go. And can the 18 keep the nose in here? Now he's going to look for the crossover. Actually, instead, he's just going to gun it there as McKenzie covers off the crossover. And De Almeida has joined the party along with Matthew Zepka. And we've got two people who are pretty familiar with the podium and two people who haven't seen the podium in very much in their careers. And all four of them are going to go at it. 4 cars, 2 spots. Bertolucci now going around Rick Meyer there. Up ahead, Daniels still in front of Bowman. So we'll bounce to the through the battle for P2 in a second here. Bowman may have a look on Daniels, but staying behind him for the time being. On the front straightaway, there goes Logan McKenzie. And Francois Shink is going to be trying to maximize the side draft here. The Veloster's a little bit better in a straight line. He goes all the way over to the regular racing line. And into turn 1 we go with McKenzie on the defensive side of the track. And he will stay ahead of the 18 for now. The 18 may have a decent run here. Oh, and now the 6 pulls out. This may be a defensive move against Zepka. And into the corner, they all go as they were. And now all the excitement at the start of the race was, and really the first 2/3 of the race was in the middle of the field. Now all the excitement has moved up to the front of the field. Mitchell and Liebold are still fairly close to each other. Daniels has had Bowman go by him. Yavi Sierra is working on the back of Mitchell Rickmeyer. Those are some of the battles developing in the closing moments here. But Polasek will be getting the white flag in just a couple of laps. I believe we'll be getting 26 laps in this one. Let's go on board with Francois Shink. It says if you can read this, you're too slow, but Shink has had no problem keeping up with the 04 in the waning minutes of this race. There's a scrap for 13th in the Delta class. That's Nick Beta and Tyler Long. Beta will come out on top there. And here is the scrap for P2 in the Alpha class. Back to turn 1. McKenzie again going defensive. 2 laps to go here at Interlagos. Oh, and does he catch a little bit of the grass there? And he will have to go defensive. Oh, Shink. He tried to go for the over-under. McKenzie just parked, did a little bit of contact. And I think McKenzie's going to have to go defensive into this corner as well. He's just defending everywhere. And behind, Zepka and De Almeida have not been able to take advantage. Oh, Zepka looking for the inside of the 6 here. And De Almeida now on the outside of Shink for a moment. I think this is going to result in them all being as they were. And that is exactly what happens. So they continue on. They will get the white flag in these positions. And Michael Polasek coming down the front stretch now. It is white flag for your race leader here at Interlagos. It has been a flawless performance thus far, and he doesn't have very long to go. Out of the final corner comes McKenzie, and he has a pretty good gap to Schenk. So I don't think he's going to be under pressure into turn 1 this time around. And into the Senna S. All looks normal. Maybe a little slide from the 04. All the scraps in the further back of the field. Calm for the moment. Schenk has a run. He's got McKenzie pinned to the bottom of the track. We'll go on board with De Almeida for this. Oh, and they come very close to touching. Schenk's going to try and keep the nose in, and now De Almeida on the left side. This is going to help McKenzie out. All he has to do is go defensive, and De Almeida will do the rest of the work for him. Schenk taking a lot of ground there. He's going to cut in front of Almeida and lose touch with the 04. And now the 6 going for a lunge, but he can't get alongside the 18. Zepka hasn't been able to do anything in all of this, and I think they're going to end up as they were unless something happens here in a moment. McKenzie and Schenk are on to pick up another podium. It'll be one of hundreds for them. And for Michael Polasek, it'll be one of many wins as the number 1 crosses the line, and that is win number 40 for Michael Polasek in his career. A stellar job done by him, and trouble in the back. Jason Lynn has been spun around. Ian Bertolucci involved as well, and he's coming to a stop as Logan McKenzie crosses the line. He will hold on to P2 and Francois Schenk P3. Hendricks behind that group in 6th, and there is Svidovic in 7th. Zachary Liebold holds off Damon Mitchell. And in the Delta class, John Daniels has played the pit strategy perfectly. He was one of the first to exit the train and perform the undercut. It got him ahead of the cars he needed to be ahead of. He passed Corey Lobner much quicker than Dave Thomas, and that was really the decisive factor. And then he was gone. He held the 4-second gap, and we have a proper battle for the Delta Championship on our hands, I think. There's Thomas in the background. These two will be going at it, I'm sure, the rest of the season. Fantastic race here at Interlagos, wrapped up, and some fantastic driving all around. A fairly clean one. Only a couple incidents at the start, maybe one at the very end. And there is your winner and championship leader, Michael Polasek, out of the final corner to celebrate his 3rd victory of the season. He won the season opener, won the first race at Road America, and now brings home another one. That's 3 of 4 for him thus far. And for John Daniels, he managed to win the season opener, but at Road America, it wasn't meant to be. A good return to form for the 0-2, exactly what he needed after what happened in the second race last week, and now he's right back in the thick of it. 2 drop weeks in the season means that it's all to play for here for the 0-2 and his title rival, the 15 of Dave Thomas. Let's get a look at the final results from today's race at Interlagos, starting with, well, I guess there's no first or second race, so we'll start and finish with the first race. Michael Polasek wins by 21.3 seconds over Logan McKenzie and Francois Schenk, who barely hold off Mike Almeida and Matthew Zepka to come home on that podium. Hendricks, Svidovic, Liebold, Mitchell, and Bowman round out your top 10. Waj gained 24 spots in that race. Your clear Negative Aggression Award winner of the day. John Daniels in the Delta class is your winner with a 4-second advantage over Dave Thomas, and then Brian Saab. So the 2 Chase Sim Racing cars on the podium, but neither able to get the win. And then Daniel's teammate, Rakowski, down in 5th in the Delta class. Your pole sitter, Mitchell Rickmeyer, ended up 4th in the end, just ahead of Lobner and Rakowski. Then you have Murray and Darnell and Lynn rounding out the top 20. Bertolucci finishing 21st in the end in his home race. He had climbed pretty far up the order, but then that incident on the last lap demoted him back down. And from there, Gilbert, Clark, Haight, DeJay, Dunbar, Beta, and Long, 29 drivers stayed on the lead. 28 drivers stayed on the lead lap. Covijo had to serve that late penalty. And then Bond, Trost, and Booley ran out the cars that finished the race. McAllister, Marcel Thomas, and Matthew Mayer at the bottom of the order. We'll get your updated point standings to you shortly. Once again, I want to thank you so much for watching. Thank you to Sync Mesh for sponsoring the series. And we will see you next week when we head to VIR for a sprint challenge. That is going to be some exciting stuff around that track. We will see you there. Thank you so much for watching the Alpha Touring Challenge week in and week out. Have a good night.